Oh yeah, welcome back to Castlevania 1. After a little break, just a little to me, longer for you viewers. It's time to assault Dracula's castle again. With a nice remixed music of the first Castlevania stage music. With all the quite much expected obstacles as well, but the geography is a bit different because, well, this is a other Castlevania. Well, and of course there's also enemies which are much tougher than the enemies of the first stage of first Castlevania. Damn it. Trying to duck near stairs, bad idea, and 4 points of damage. A lot. That was something like a 5 hits and you're dead. And Castlevania games are quite stingy about health refills, especially these classic ones. So let's just keep going forward. And there's a nice little architecture of spikes in the floor and corpses in them. Yep, Castlevania does use horror imagery. So let's just bring out Grant to go. Oh yeah, that's a big hit he took. So you can really see that the level of difficulty in this one game is merciless. Which is also quite much of a reason why did some research, did some damage. No, not that one. I'm not gonna use the daggers, even though they are quite handy with Grant because of his massive lack of range. They really don't help much. And a suspicious corridor. With collapsing floor. Well, luckily Grant is so fast that he can quite easily outpace that collapsing floor. And even make a bit of glitch that about how it's gonna enter. And there's about to be a boss. And not just a boss, a very influential and important boss in the Castlevania games. Death. And he's got all the necessary tricks to be real bastard of a boss. He spins out his sights like a real eagerly. But let's just still try to defeat him. Because, well, Paramount Clan is not particularly known from having a habit of giving up easily. Okay, grab the axe. And look past them and switch to Trevor because, well, he can attack better and he can take damage better. But yeah, the game is no longer playing nice anymore, you could say. But Death moves in a quite, you could say, patterned manner. He summons the ring sights towards you And there's about a dozen things for you to be worried about when he's around. Yeah, lots of things to worry about. Let's try again before I have to resort to the save scumming, which in game as ruthlessly difficult as this one is not a shame to use. This fight took me a long time while I was a kid to get through these. All these final stages were really nasty. Had caused a real challenge. But once again got through that corridor without any problem, thanks to Grant's superior maneuverability. So, try again. Fucking scythes. It's so difficult to guess. But yeah, this is the pattern Death uses in this battle. Ah shit. He's a bit of clunky. Once again, shifting on going quite quiet. Quite quiet. They almost sound exactly the same, those words. Well, I'm doing my best to avoid it. Yeah. In these final stages, Grant's general use becomes much more about how to maneuver around, not so much about how to... I did got some swipes in. But taking Death out first doesn't stop him. He has a second form of a big wheel which just spins around, spewing. Yeah, it's some sort of background pattern that moves around, laughing at you. And he cornered me. So it's time to save scum myself to there to defeat the Death. See you there again. Once again here, using the magic of video editing and saves and gameplay trickery of save scumming, which could have been done at the original incarnation of this Death. So, using the napalm water, he dies fast because of, well, you can see that he almost wiped out half of his life bar. And that wiped out all rest of it. Just with one hit, because of I managed to out-damage him. Yeah, with specific gear, bosses in this game can be defeated, but I do say that the main difficulty in this game is not so much in platforming, even though platforming can be real tricky, but it's in the boss fights. Second to last stage, which also caused a shitload of trouble during my youth. And it's got completely bizarre layout of between this kind of foresty stage, even though we're inside Castlevania already. We're inside Dracula's castle. Is this some sort of garden he has in castle or something else? And eagles dropping hunchbacks. What isn't lovable about that? And quite nice music as well. gives kind of hectic pace for this stage. So let's just use Grant's massive ability to points. Just the massive doses of points, although points do give you 1-ups. And crushing walls, crushing crushing smash hit thingies, which would have showed up at the second stage, and these kind of double-sided crushy things as well, which would have appeared at the underground stages if I would have gone through that way. Nothing really, nothing new, unexpected obstacles over there. But time to switch out to Trevor, because he can at least tank a few hits better. So yeah. And I fell to my death. Oh yeah. Suffice to say, difficulty is quite brutal in this game. And this would be a bit of a timing puzzle for you to jump past that. And Trevor does fall like a rock. And this phase of the stage is just so bloody hard. Because of constant barrage from fireball pests and all that. There's those bloody flying gargoyles and fire and pests, and you can't actually get much higher than that because, well, it's a really the game. It's not so much platforming which is difficult, but the fact that mobility in these stairs is severely limited. So I'm resorting to using my axes to get myself some take some real difficult maneuverings to and oop, get up. Yep, not so much platforming difficulties from being with peril of being knocked out, but platforming difficulties with peril of being eaten alive by all these pests around here. Suffice to say, level of difficulty in this phase of the game has gone from harsh to merciless. I don't think it ever was much, but you could say the pacing of the game's difficulty has been quite good because this is end game stuff. So for that stuff, you need game to have a lot of challenge at that phase. Yeah, I'm using sub weapons. And not only is this stage hard, it's long. Armored skeletons, not a peril. Those bubbles, definitely a peril. Especially when your mobility happens to be a bit of a sluggish. Knowing advance where to go and where they will appear is definitely useful. Especially because the game is forcing you to go with its pace, not on your own pace, which is usually the case. Although enemies and all that kind of thing, pests, do enemies do appear into your way of moving. But I got through that part without any kind of, you could say, massive difficulty. Kind of expected. So still climbing forward. And this little room appears a bit more like a... well, the architecture of these levels is kind of bizarre, even for a genre like this. That was close dodge. But getting through this place, and more obstacles. They're throwing every kind of nasty obstacle of the game at you. There's birds, there's moving grounds, there's stairs, there's every nasty little shitstorm you might dread to face. But with Grant's mobility, I was able to slip through that without any problem. And now this floor with completely dangerous little trickery, but I was managed to slip by that, which ends with a completely monstrous boss. But I hope that there's a little trick I used which might work now. Say hello, the doppelganger. Nope, it didn't work. There's a trick you can use to defeat the doppelganger with Grant, but it didn't seem to work. But let's just try to trigger it again. It would be something that he's gonna start attacking completely when you're just close, and then you can just duck and none of his attacks hit you, but you can still manage to yourself to get inside and hammer him out of existence using Grant. But I'm gonna try it again. Not like that. Reset. Yeah, spike floor can be reset, which is good. Dodge over that and over that. Yep, didn't work. Heading back to the doppelganger because he's a merciless boss. Magic of video editing and save scouting has brought me back, so let's just try to defeat the doppelganger. First appeared in the franchise at this moment. Yep, he changes form to you, whatever it is, but I made him look much easier than he actually is, thanks because of fire napalm water being absolutely destructive. And this is the final stage. The keep. With a nice swirly background and shitload of birds, and of course keep does have also Medusa heads and clock tower things, but there was also a separate clock tower and slowdown as well, but game can handle it quite well. Boys at Konami had become quite adept at programming for NES. So yeah, downwards scroll auto scroll stage. Definitely recommendable to be extremely careful at this stage. Yeah, use the napalm water to remove that little annoyance. But generally you can see that the final stage of Castlevania 3 is not, as we could say, mercilessly, horrifyingly difficult as preceding stages had been. Yeah, there are enemies, annoying enemies in bit of obnoxious locations, but nothing really, you could say, what you can't handle level of horrifying. Which I think to be is a nice little relaxing moment after a shit horrifying previous stage, which took me several weeks of grinding and learning how to handle all the quirks of that stage before I actually managed to get through it. And not just me, one of my then friends also was playing it at the same time, so it was quite much of a struggle. And the swinging pendulums take a return with bats as well to really hamper your progress. So let's just swing into the pendulum and swing up here. And oh, that was very close, and that wasn't. Ah, damn it! I caught that pest over there. But generally, this stage is, despite having few of that kind of things, is much less horrid in its difficulty than the previous one. And that is very important thing to have an axe with Grant, or Trevor if you don't have Grant. It's gonna make it works against the final boss. And as in the level of works, crushes it or him. Unless of course the bats before bats murder me. Oh yeah, bats murdered me. Not that easy stage, even though conceptually much easier and way shorter than the previous stage, but it still is quite tough. So let's just try a little trick with Grant that you can't do with anybody else, except Alucard. Alucard has completely his own trick. But a couple of swinging pendulum stings. Oh god, that was a cheap shot, Konami. Absolutely, that was cheapest shot ever. As in hard to say exactly how insanely cheap shot that was, but it was cheap as hell shot. As in low blow combined with kidney shot and all that kind of unpleasantness that you can expect from low blow. But let's just try to get into the keep, which of course is where the final boss in almost well, not every final boss has had final boss. Every Castlevania game has had the final boss appear in keep. Yeah, now I succeeded. Now I'm at the castle keep, preparing to face the final boss in this very iconic, famous stairwell to the left. Not always. Castlevania Bloodlines has stairway going right. I don't know why. That's a bit of a black sheep of 2D Castlevania games. even though it had potential to be a really good one. Nothing like that. And say hello to chronologically first Dracula boss fight, but not first in gameplay wise. First he's gonna teleport around, summon fire pillars that trap you between, and then he's gonna summon another big fire pillar, and you have to keep your distance so that you can move to dodge the fire pillar. But of course fight ain't over yet. It becomes this kind of acid droplet thingamajiggery, which is, well, it drops acid on ground, floats around, being generally a nuisance to you. And it might corner you as well. So yeah, got a bit of unpredictable pattern. The killed heads. Killed heads stop spewing acid at you. Damn it. Well, let's just shift over to the Grand so I can show the final phase. Because now begins the final phase, which is a ridiculously easy to do with Grant. All you have to do is stay far edge and throw axes at his head. I wonder, can I get it? But otherwise you would have to use all these little platforms to avoid being hit. And they of course have a little bit of tracking that they do, and they come alternately from right hand or left hand and all that. And Grant's extra height in jump allows him to keep attacking that way. Play smart, play very smart, play defensive. Don't try to get too many hits inside because it's going. Yes, I got it. Final boss at the first attempt. And now I just have to wait for these to drop off. And with this move, somebody else defeated Dracula for the first time. And first time, but the Dracula's castle falls. And now the ending texting. Well, yeah. I once again refer to the Netflix series, which did not have Grant, is that it happens, you could say, at the end of second season Dracula is killed, but there's still 2 more seasons left about the aftermath of that, which is, yeah. Well, okay, see, actually it was a big state. Yeah. Yeah, that middle part of the text is talking about the companion or not will change, of course, after this. Castlevania 3 has been defeated. First time, and of course later Castlevania has also made the reasons why Dracula had this reason to start this insane conquest of terror. And of course character Sifra Belmundes, well, after it's Belnades. And of course there's Grant, Acrobat, Grant. Yeah, they've kept even the silly translations from that, like Grant Danusti. And this is a stage which was not seen because of Alucard. Adrian Fahrenheit's Depeche. Yeah. That, and his father's name was Vlad Dracula Depeche. and his wife name, which would later appear at Symphony of the Night, was called just Lisa Tepesh. Dracula loved her very much. It's a great little understanding. And Trevor C. Belmont. Yeah, the patriarch of the Belmont family. But although I want to say that one of the Game Boy games which does not appear in this collection is actually real beginning of the Belmont family, and it had a first female Castlevania protagonist. But that was it. Castlevania 3 by Konami. Damn fine game, although it's tough. See you next time. This was just a little bit of intercule work. See you next time. See ya.